All right, if you've ever watched The Bear Whisperer, and especially if you live in the state of Maine, this one episode I need for everybody to watch. This is all about the referendum that the HSUS has brought to our doorstep, brought here to Maine, to make bear baiting, bear trapping, and hounding illegal in Maine. Now, this show is just chock full with special guests. We got Governor Paul Lepage came down to our studios and recorded a little piece for us. Josh Koscheck, UFC Fighter. Dave Trahan, Sportsman Alliance of Maine. And probably the most important person, the Maine bear biologist, Randy Cross, which is really the bear biologist of all the United States. This is the guy that everybody patterns their bear programs from. I like to call him the real bear whisperer, the guy that knows so much about bears and loves bears. He's also here, and he's gonna tell you all about it. But before we get into any of it, I wanna run kind of like a little public service announcement about the company that did bring this to our doorstep, the HSUS. And this is a nice little piece. Sit back and enjoy, and we'll be right back with all the special guests. Enjoy it.
Every day, thousands of lawyers and lobbyists around the country find themselves out of work and unemployed. These lawyers don't have a vacation home. They can't buy the latest iPad or drive a BMW. But thankfully, the Humane Society of the United States has saved dozens of these lawyers and lobbyists by hiring them on staff. But only you can help us do more. For just $19 a month, you can join the Humane Society of the United States in our fight to hire more lawyers. People often think that we run pet shelters, but that simply isn't true. We don't run a single one, and we only give 1% of your money to pet shelters. Our real goal is to get the government to pass laws that eliminate farms with animals. We're basically PETA, with suits and deodorant. Your $19 a month will help us hire even more lawyers and lobbyists and make multi-million-dollar donations to our pension fund. It might help us cover our overhead costs or buy a plane ticket for Michael Vick so he can come to one of our events. Our massive fundraising operation collected $130 million last year. But we need more. If these lawyers could talk, they'd tell you they desperately need you to help them right now. With your donation, we'll even send you a handsome money clip to remind you of where your donation is going. When you give to the Humane Society of the United States, remember, only you can help abused lawyers and lobbyists.
The official knives of the Bear Whisperer are from Outdoor Edge, the finest quality knives for the big game hunter.
Now, before we get to all these special guests, I want to make something perfectly clear. This is not emotion. What I'm about to tell you is pure fact. All these people are stating facts. This is not emotion. This is not some bull-dinky video, some company, some special interest group is showing you to play on your emotions. These are the facts, and that's all I want from anybody watching this is to explore the facts. You can go to emmyfishwildlife.com, click on 2014 referendum. There's a million resources to get facts about this referendum. Now, first up, I want to introduce our great governor. Came all the way to beautiful downtown nowhere, Maine. Came to our studios, and we just asked him to speak his mind on the bear referendum. This is Governor Paul Lepage. And I also ask you on the same day, if you're a Mainer and you're going to vote no on question 1 for the bear referendum, please, please, please vote for Paul Lepage. He is on the right side of everything we believe in as Mainers.
Good morning. I'm Paul Lepage, Governor of the State of Maine. There are 2 reasons why I am against the referendum on the bear hunt, altering the bear hunt in the state of Maine. 1, a bear in Maine is a prized catch, and we allow our sportsmen to go out and have bear hunts. And they bring in people from all over the world to go bear hunting in the state of Maine. It is a great economic boom during the bear season. Secondly, if you do not manage the herd, it's going to become a nuisance animal. So we go from a prized animal to a nuisance animal. And people believe, and the people from the Humane Society seem to want to try to convince people to vote against the bear hunt. But let me tell you the truth. If you alter the bear hunt, if you get rid of trapping and baiting and dogs, what is going to happen is the state will be required to hire bounty hunters that will use those 3 methods to go hunt the bear so that we can control the herd. And it's that simple. And most importantly, Maine has a biologist who has been working with bear for many, many years. He's renowned worldwide as an expert, and I believe we ought to leave the management of the bear herd to the professional biologists and not to emotional people out of Washington, D.C. You know, people come to Maine to alter our way of life. Mainers ought to be able to make the decision that they want a bear hunt because it's good for the state of Maine. Thank you.
All right, Paul made a ton of great points, but the biggest point I'd like to drive home is I don't know why, as Mainers, we let this group from Washington, D.C., HSUS, come to our state, come to your state, no matter what state it is, and let them push us around with all of their money. It baffles my mind that Mainers can't come together, lock arms, and send these people home. If there needs to be some sort of referendum to control or change bear hunting, then we can do it right here. Our bear biologists can do it. We don't need them coming to our state. We don't need them coming to your state. They want us to all be vegans, and that's a fact. And throughout the show, you're gonna find that out. That's their goal, is for us all to be vegans. It's got nothing to do with bear hunting whatsoever.
My feelings about HSUS coming into Maine and say bear hunting's illegal, I think it's crazy. You know, you have so many residents out here that depend on bear to provide for them over the winter. It's insane. You know, these bear are so smart that baiting them, chasing them with dogs, it's the only way you're gonna ever kill a bear a lot of times, unless you see it in your backyard, you see it breaking in your car window because you left food in there, you see it in your trash cans. I mean, if you don't have bear control, then you're gonna have these things everywhere. They're gonna come into your neighborhoods, they're gonna come into your house, they're gonna come into your backyard, they're gonna be terrorizing your pets and your animals, they're gonna kill your livestock, your cows, chase your horses. You know, you need to have bear control, and I think it's so important to have that in the state of Maine, because the fact that these things will be everywhere.
Let's just go over some facts about the HSUS. Number 1, they give 1%, less than 1% most of, to actual pet shelters to help pets live longer or have a place to stay. What they spend all their money on is trying to get us to be vegans, on advertising, on their pension funds. It goes on and on and on and on. You can go to humanewatch.org yourself and look at how they spend their money, broken down piece by piece. It is absolutely ridiculous. You'll see this is about money. This is not about bears and their welfare for bears. They want bears to starve in the woods, long, slow, and hard. So go there and check that out. Less than 1% goes to your local pet shelter. In the state of Maine, it's $5,000 to $10,000. So they take in $180 million. And in the state of Maine, they drop $5,000 to $10,000 on pet shelters. Now, split up that $5,000 to $10,000 between all of the pet shelters in the Maine. What is that? 50 bucks, $100 a pet shelter? It's ridiculous. 6 U.S. congressmen called for a federal investigation into the HSUS practices. What does that tell you? These are congressmen. Like, they don't have anything better to do, but they know when deceptive practices are going on, they need to stop it because people are wasting their money. People are sending in $19 a month to what? You saw that at the beginning of the video. It ain't to the pet shelter, but that's the impression they're giving you. As far as the charity value, they are rated a D. It don't get any worse. An F, they probably pull your charity rating. They are rated a D. So they're taking in this $120, $180 million a year, who knows what, depending on the year, and they're rated a D. In other words, you're wasting your money. What you think your money's going to is not going to what they think, because they want you to think it's going to a pet shelter, but it's going to their pension funds. So $5,000 to $10,000 come for all the state of Maine pet shelters to split. Yippee-ki-yay. 50, $100 a pet shelter, maybe. I don't even think it's that much. But $16.3 million went into their employees' pension funds. $16.3 million went into their employees' pension funds. You do the math. Is this what you want to support? Is this what you want to vote yes on? That a company like this is going to come to our state? It's again, just ridiculous. It baffles my mind anybody would vote yes. Look at the facts. Don't look at the emotion.
My name's David Trahan. I'm the Executive Director of the Sportsman Alliance of Maine. I'd really like to thank Blaine for having me on the show. He has some really interesting opinions on things, and I look forward to this discussion.
I kind of think when Dave says interesting, he means like loud and unfiltered.
It really is the tactics of this organization that I have some real concerns about. My first encounter with the Humane Society of the United States happened about 1.5 years ago. I was in a room with 5 of their lobbyists, mostly from Washington, D.C. Before we even really started the discussion, they said to me, hey, look, if you don't support what we want, if you don't support banning hounding and trapping of bears, then we're going to stay in your state. We're going to do a bear referendum to take baiting, hounding, and trapping. And then when we're done taking baiting, hounding, and trapping, we're going to stay in Maine, and we're going to take away the things that you care about.
To me, to Dave, to you, you should understand that, in my opinion, this is straight up extortion. Extortion. Come to Maine, try to pick on the little guy, and they're coming to your state next. Try to pick on the little guy and make a threat. Make trapping and hounding illegal, and we'll go away. Well, I got news for you. They're not going to go away. The CEO of HSUS is trying to make all hunting illegal. All hunting. He said it 1,000,000 times. They're not going away. Dave Trahan said no. You can't have anything because it's all incrementalism. Once they, if that's even a word, once they get this done, then they go to the next thing, then they go to the next thing. So they come here and they literally try to extort us. All right, next up we got Mr. Randy Cross. Now, Randy is probably the world authority on bears. Other states call the state of Maine. His bear biology program has been copied. He's consulted. It's unbelievable just how smart this guy is when it comes to bears, maintaining population, knowing where bears are. He's forgotten more than I'll ever know. That's the expression I'm looking for. But let's hear what the bear biologist, not for the state of Maine, the most world-renowned bear biologist in the entire world, has to say about this bear referendum.
I'm Randy Cross. I've worked for the Black Bear Monitoring Project here with Maine Fish and Wildlife for now 32 years. This January, I'm going to start my 33rd den season. It's interesting, here we are 10 years later going through the referendum again. Really, basically the same exact question is going to be on the ballot that was on the ballot 10 years ago. And, you know, we were successful. As a department, we opposed it then, we oppose it now. We have the same issues with it, and those issues are pretty major because basically it removes our ability to manage the bear population. And that's what we're hired to do. And because this isn't just a choice of style of hunting. This is the only techniques that are effective in our habitat that we have in Maine in order to control the bear population. Really, the bottom line is that that our top priority is to maintain a healthy and abundant bear population. So this referendum threatens that ability for us to keep the population in balance with the food that's available in the habitat in northern Maine. And it's not so much a question of how we hunt and the techniques that we use as it is for us just the ability to do our job and protect the health and welfare of the bears. But somewhere down the line, the same number of bears that we harvest now would have to die of some other means, and those means would be by starvation and disease. And I really don't want to see our bears managed that way. I don't want to see starvation and disease as the number one cause of death of bears in the north woods of Maine.
Okay, now here's the world-renowned bear biologist telling you, without a shadow of a doubt, that this is bad. This is about bears. This is not about hunters. Bears are going to die of starvation if this passes. Somehow, the HSUS thinks that that is perfectly fine. The bottom line is they are absolutely willing to trade the welfare of bears, not hunters. This has got nothing to do with me, you, hunters. They're going to trade the welfare of bears to try to make us all vegans. Because you got to remember, this isn't even about bears. This is about hunting. This is about meat. This is about farmers. It goes on and on and on. You got to remember that Wayne Parcelli, the CEO of HSUS, literally said, hold on, and I quote what he said, "We are going to use the ballot box and the democratic process to stop all hunting in the United States." All hunting in the United States. This got nothing to do with bears. This literally has nothing to do with bears. He wants to stop all hunting in the United States. He went on to say, and I'm going to quote because I'm going to read it. I don't want to missay anything because Lord knows he's got way more lawyers than me. If we could shut down all sport hunting in a moment, we would. If we could shut down all sport hunting in a moment, we would. This guy wants to eliminate hunting. This is their goal. This has nothing to do with bears. They are willing to let bears starve in the woods, in the forests of Maine, to stop hunting altogether. I mean, I just don't see how you don't get that. You vote yes on number one, you vote to have bears starve in the woods. Remember that. You need to vote no on question one. That simple. Now here's the latest awesome thing that these PETA / we want you all to be vegan people are doing. They're suing Maine Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Yeah, suing them now. Why? Because they know they're going to lose. All of the real information is coming out. These companies are explaining just who HSUS is. They disguise it with fancy words and Maine this and Maine that. It's all bull dinky. It's HSUS, just about all funded by them. They're now suing all of these people, no matter how they disguise it, Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, for making videos about biologists saying don't do this because it's going to be bad for the state. It's going to be bad for bears. It's going to be bad for the economy. So the state, they want a hush order. They want the state to be quiet so that they can feed you lies and tell you, and this is a fact, again, get online and Google it. They're suing Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, telling them that they need to be quiet, that they're using taxpayer dollars to inform the public. I got news for you. That's why we have an Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, so that we can be educated about our forests and bears and deer and everything else. So thank you. How about you shut up, quit suing people so that you can get them to shut up, and just say thank you to them for going out there and studying bears and understanding what's best for bears and what's best for the state of Maine. This whole thing is, I mean, I literally got goosebumps, and it absolutely makes me just insanely furious at not that not every single person in the state of Maine doesn't know what HSUS is. That a company from Washington, D.C. comes up here and funds all these programs to sue our inland fisheries and wildlife and try to get them to be quiet because for some reason they don't think that Mainers want to know what's going on and what's best for the forest and the bears and the deer and the birds and everything else in the state of Maine. That's why I pay taxes, and that's what I want to know. I also want to mention really quick, you see the sponsors during my show. They all support our right to hunt. They all support our right for conservation. All of them. They allow me to do a show like this without shooting, a Black Eagle arrow out of my Matthews bows, loaded down with bow jacks with my QAD Ultra Rest, and I could go on and on about all of my great sponsors that are allowing me to do a show like this. They're doing this for you too. So you make sure every sponsor you see on my show, you support because they're allowing shows like this to happen. I want to send a special shout out to the Center for Consumer Freedom for giving me access to all of this information that I'm telling you. This is all factual information. They made it really easy for me to investigate. And this is only a part of what this organization is. Please go to humanewatch.org and look it up and check out what this company's all about. I only have this much time to tell it. Please go and inform yourself. Do not watch these ridiculous ads on bears and they show you all of this inhumane stuff that doesn't even come from our state. They're using videos from other states. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Make sure you check out the Bear Whisperer on Facebook for behind-the-scenes footage, giveaways, and much more at facebook.com/The Bear Whisperer.